Aloha! My name is Ashton Nicolas Obrero, and I'm the founder and CEO of Creative Natives, and your host for the Creative Natives podcast, hashtag the CNP, where you can find me having curated conversations with musicians and artists of all kinds, plus cultural practitioners, community organizers, and creative entrepreneurs. We'll be covering all things music, art, culture, and business. So, tune in, take notes, and tell a friend. It's time to talk story with some creative natives. All right, Moanalua native Chris Miyashiro, also known as Mowgli, was born and raised on the southern shores of Oahu, Hawaiʻi. The life of Mowgli is filled with creative endeavors such as painting, filmmaking, printmaking, designing, surfing, diving, skateboarding, and oceanic adventures. The purpose of Chris's work is the elevation of aloha, creative expression, storytelling, and the exploration of truth, beauty, and goodness. That was a colorful introduction
Thanks
off
for
of
that.
your official website. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you introduce yourself, the man himself, brother Mowgli.
How's it? How's it?
Gee.
Mahalo for having me. Stoked to be here. But as Ashton said, my name is Chris. Grew up in Moanalua, but I was homeschooled, so I kind of was catching the bus all over the island at a young age. So kind of grew up on the whole north and south shore. Spent most of my time surfing and skating over there. But yeah, welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, bro. So once again, this is the Creative Natives podcast. In case you didn't know, it's I'm sure you've read, but it's just a podcast for me to talk story with some super cool people. I'm just starting off with all my friends, and you know, I really want to talk story with creative people such as yourself. So mahalo again for being down for this podcast. I first met you, I think it was at your premiere for your first film, was
Oh
it?
yeah, it was like 2 or 3 years ago already.
Uh,
That was
Noelani.
fun.
I was doing a lot of gigs with or shows with Noelani Love. Shout out to Noelani, and
Yeah,
she
no,
was like, "Oh, you wanna go play this show? My friend Chris, he's releasing a film, and it was at what was it?
it was at a Rocky Point Collective, Uncle Jim Rusi's shop on the North Shore.
Yeah, Rocky Point Collective, such a cool little shop up on the North Shore. Um,
Was
do you remember that? You remember that, right? That was good fun.
Yeah, that was super fun. That was like the second time ever showing it.
Oh, that was the second filming. How was the first one?
Well, the first one was fun. That was at Kekoa Collective, and it was in town. Both locations are now unavailable, unfortunately. But yeah, good memories over there. That one was in like right across the street from Kewalos.
Yeah, I remember Keikoa Collective. What a cool bunch of people over there. But
I
that
love
was for your first film in Dancing Days of Dawn.
Yeah.
Um Man, and you're coming up on your second film. We're gonna talk more about that. Um but yeah, after that premiere up at Rocky Point Collective, it was a super fun night. We got to jam a little opening set, and I remember just everyone was in complete awe after watching that film, bro. That it was a small room, but packed with a lot of people. And yeah, it was just a good night. From what I remember.
Thank you. Yeah, it was such a fun night. Yeah, hearing you guys play too is such an epic way to open it. Just all good vibes, and everyone was already in such a good mood. And then film came along, and more art, and yeah, it was a good night. Everyone was pretty stoked. I was happy to
The stoke
be
was
a part
real.
of it for sure.
So you do a lot of things, man. You have your foot in a lot of different creative expressions, but what would be your favorite form of creative expression?
Oh, Oh, they're all so intertwined. It's hard to pick one, yeah. But I would probably say, aside from like surfing and skating, obviously, it would probably have to be block carving. I really enjoy carving because you
Block
get into
carving.
some pretty crazy zones just carving all day. Like in your mind, it takes so long to make like one little stamp, So that's really fun because you get a vision and you kind of just keep chipping away at it, and you don't really get to see what it looks like to your pal, so you get to print it.
What material are you chipping away at?
Well, I started with like mineral board wood kind of a thing,
Okay.
and I was using that, and then I saw like someone else making linoleum prints, and I got super psyched on that because it's like it carves like butter. So the last like couple years I've been using linoleum here and there, but I like to use wood and stuff better, like it's a little bit more environmentally friendly, and although it takes longer, I think that's like kind of where the fun comes into sometimes. So a little bit of both, but I'm
I
trying
thought
to
a Kapuna
do a
did it,
little bit
yeah,
less.
just all wood and
Yeah, all ohe, the bamboo, or
yeah.
different cultures, they probably use different stuff. I know here it was ohe.
Oh yeah, Philippines too, automatic. The
Oh
ohe.
yeah, ohe kapala.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that's awesome. Block carving.
So
So
fun.
do you make it for stamps or is you can just sculpt?
Well, you can make the carving as a carving, but regardless, like it's always nice to like ink the positive side so that the negative makes your picture. And if you're gonna do that, you may as well stamp it. So it can always be used as
Right.
both. Yeah. So you make a stamp, but I think the actual art of carving it and having this picture that you work so hard on is like
Or in
it's
itself.
worth all of it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Speaking of creative blocks, how do you break down your creative blocks that keep you from like getting
Oh,
that inspiration, that kind of block?
right. Get those a lot.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, but honestly, like I don't really consider them blocks. It's more just like it's like the empty spaces between music, and the notes and the sounds and stuff. It's like those moments that you kind of need to have, because if you're just going all the time, you're gonna burn out eventually. And I feel like sometimes when I just don't feel like making something, I think it's just as important. I'll go surf or walk in the jungle and just kind of take my brain away from it. And I feel like after I give it that time, then like the creativity trickles back in naturally. But usually when I'm like not feeling it, I'm like, okay, that's okay. Just keep going, do something else.
I love how you related that to music because it's like you're right. If a song is just loud the whole time, it's not gonna be something someone wants to listen to. That's
Yeah,
it's that
exactly.
space in between the music that is very necessary to it's
Making it better.
duality. I feel like duality, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, such an awesome answer. So as a freelancer, right? You obviously we know how hard it is to get inspiration. Actually, let me reverse that. It's super easy to get inspiration, especially when you live in Hawaii, right? So
Yeah.
I know you love the ocean, of course, and the ocean is really intertwined into your art. But is there any like specific places that you go to get inspiration, or just
Mm.
at your house, or
Yeah,
certain
definitely.
place in the world?
Oh, in the world. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like every new experience to me is like bango inspiration, 'cause you're in a brand new space, like no kind of preconceived notion. It's like a huge adventure getting to travel and go places and stuff. Which usually that's like where all my inspiration came from. I would go on trips and be inspired for like a whole year after that, just so amped, like getting to go to like Australia or something, where it's completely different landscape, new plants and cool things to look at. But during COVID, especially, like I really learned to appreciate just like, I mean, it sounds cheesy, but it's like the little things more, So just getting to walk in the backyard, like observing like plants you grew up seeing your whole life, and just watching like light trickle through stuff. And now like it's so easy, inspiration everywhere, like everything's so beautiful. Yeah, like you can see the bottom of the ocean in the jungle, can see leaves like in the ocean, just everywhere. There's just movement everywhere. It's all pretty inspiring. But yeah, I'm learning more and more to just find more inspiration in stillness, for sure.
it's the cool thing about growing up in Hawaii, right? It's to us growing up, it's just kind of a normal thing, and
Yeah.
we don't really appreciate it as much until I feel like, for me at least, like when I traveled and came back, I just had so much more appreciation and love for
Yeah,
our home.
agreed. And also I feel like when you travel, you notice, like as you meet and get to know people, I feel like you notice like values of Hawaii in yourself more, and you come to appreciate that. Like simple things is like seeing a elder at the grocery store and being like almost being like, "Oh, what's up, Auntie?" Like, just like that
Yeah, talking
kind
story
of like
and
talking story, openness to people.
hospitable.
Yeah. You start to realize that like it's a blessing that we are able to like grow up and like be influenced by those kind of people.
Very respectable and honorable people.
Yeah. Just the culture, the island culture, anywhere in the like all islands, everywhere, kind of that family, small community vibes.
Yeah, in Hawaii though, it's very unique in that, obviously the sugar plantation brought in a bunch of different ethnicities, but the local culture, just, growing up in Hawaii, not as a Hawaiian, but growing up in that local culture, um, how does that influence the style in your art? Because I feel like
Mm.
you have a very certain style that is just so flowy, and I don't know, I love it. That's the only word
Yeah,
I can think of.
yeah. I think, yeah, growing up here, it's like I wouldn't consider my art Hawaiian at all. I think it's a little bit more like inclusive to that because a lot of my inspiration comes from like oceanic cultures all over the world. But I think like um the main thing is to just have like a sense of place, like, and to be like a traveled person. Sense of place is just being in honor and reverence of the surroundings and like the stories from that place. And here we live in such a mixing pot that there's just so much of that, so I feel like the inspiration is a little bit in like everything I've ever seen or heard in my life.
Yeah.
Not just Hawaii, but Hawaii obviously is a huge part because it's like the only culture I was ever like around in for as long as I have been here.
Yeah, man, and we're just so connected to the ocean. That's what I like to say, is like we're not divided. Or someone said that. I think it was
Uncle Brian Keolana said that.
Keolana. Okay,
Yeah, he
okay, I
said
thought
that.
it was Uncle Nainoa, but we're not divided by land, but we're connected by sea.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's just like I feel like it's not even like a quote. It's just like a mindset for
Oh,
like
definitely.
anyone who's has lineage in the oceanic voyaging kind of line. I mean, came from like what, China or something, and made its way across everywhere. So it's a it's a true mark of wisdom that we're all connected by water for sure.
It's just facts.
Yeah, and both those uncles do it like on a scale that I'd never reach, but just so inspired by.
Yeah, man. Speaking of that, I see you guys hanging out up at Mauliola's Sand Island now.
Oh
Doing
yeah.
the Hokulea. You want to tell me a little bit about that, or is it classified?
It's not classified. I had like the blessing of knowing someone who invited me down one day to just come kokua. I didn't know anyone or anything, so of course, it's such an honor going over there. So I just humbly walked up and said, "How's it? I'm Chris.
Oh, that's
Any
so
help I could do?"
awesome.
And yeah, I got to work over there for a couple of days, just kind of getting to learn and watching everyone. It was super cool. And then, um, yeah, Uncle Nainoa is so awesome, so inspiring. So anything
Wow.
that happens down there, like, I would love to just go and
Shout out to that
participate.
crew.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's super cool. I hope it'd be awesome to get more involved for sure, because I feel like all of the creative concepts in my head of like being a better human on this earth are like so attached to Hokulea and everything it represents. So it's so
Yeah.
awesome just being in that like familiar kind of inspiration.
And I see some awesome people. Shout out to Kai and Nalamoku. I see you guys. Hopefully I can get you guys on this podcast soon.
Yeah,
Cause all you guys make some beautiful art.
Oh yeah, Nalamaku is super talented, bro. That guy is so cool.
Yeah, man, I met him at the Lo'i, and he's such a cool and like outspoken guy.
Yeah, he's got the ha ha.
Definitely.
And Kai too, I love her. She's so like so mellow, and she never like you never hear her in the lineup. You just see her, and you're like, oh,
You
what's up,
never
Kai?
guess she's shredding.
Just,
I met her at Leahi over there, and
oh yeah,
our yeah, I've been surfing with her for a little bit until I actually ended up meeting her. So yeah, shout out to Kai. We gotta get all you guys on the podcast, man.
yeah,
I
Kai.
love it.
Sorry, it buzz.
All you shadows. So new film coming out. This is your second one. Um, tell us a little bit about it and when does it release?
Oh, so
Where can we find it?
well, I'm showing it this weekend for the first time. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh
So
no.
by the time this is out, it's probably long past, but it will be at Nimitz on the Cadillac GMC parking lot.
Oh,
Try
I
to like
did see
find like an
that.
open space, so anyone can come and there's no COVID restrictions all spread out and stuff. So I just did a mural over there. So I was fortunate enough, asked them, can I please like project my film on the wall and like do a little showing? And there's like, yeah, cool. So I was like, oh yes. So grassroots style, whoever can come. I put the
Oh, that's
flyer
so
a couple
dope.
shops and blasted it on the social media. So it's hopefully that'll be cool and
Happening.
open up new doors of getting to show at places. But yeah, you know me. I've always wanted to show them grassroots style. Just I love community screenings and couldn't do any of that during COVID, so I didn't see the point of like releasing it anytime then.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of good because I think I needed that space to just reflect and like be able to like ask myself like why I even make art and all this stuff and what I don't know. It just puts you in those
Wow.
deeper spaces when you cannot share. You just gotta let it out, create somehow. And now that things
Yeah.
are lighting up, I'm super honored to be able to show it again or show it for
Let
the first time.
let time do its thing, yeah, and
Yeah, exactly.
everything unfolds kind of.
Yeah, the film is pretty much about that. Honestly, just like you have like these high and kind of long drawn out moments in your life, and it's kind of just about like finding beauty in that space and spread outness of stuff. So it's the same category, I guess, as my last one, just surf and skate and art and philosophy and question asking and all that good stuff. Got a little bit of Olelo Hawaii from my talented friends in this one.
Hey, my
Some
ka'i, my ka'i.
words from some friends in Australia. So yeah, it's a pretty. I'm pretty excited. Hopefully that not just surfers and artists can like appreciate it, but like anyone can find something inspiring in it.
Oh man, that's amazing. That's crazy. So obviously the tour is gonna have to wait, but you did go on that little tour within Dancing Days of Dawn. How was that like? Like,
That was fun. I mean, I never tried to go on a tour. It just so blessed. Like people loved it, and it got its way around in certain people's emails. And next thing you know, it got invited to all these film festivals. And
oh, it
some,
wasn't like, oh, I have all these dates set up for this tour I'm gonna go on. It was more like, oh, invites kind of
I
sporadically.
wish, wow, I wish I had that kind like uh, collectiveness. I'm just all over the place. You're cool to go out there. I'm also really bad at selling myself. So like writing emails to places saying like, hey, I'm an independent filmmaker, made this film. Like, would you be interested? Like that stuff is so hard for me, because I don't know, like if it's on someone's path, it'll get there.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing for like freelance, especially artists that, you know, have that have their passion as a living. There's the
Mm,
business side that is
so
like
hard.
inevitable. So how is it like, especially with your time being having the spontaneous lifestyle, how do you manage your time as a freelance
Mm,
artist?
yeah, that is hard. I kind of like my days are pretty packed, honestly. Like people think that I don't have like a real job and like all this stuff that I have all this free time, but like I'm always kind of hustling something, whether it be just getting a personal project done, or sometimes I work at that shop Arvo, and then sometimes I work at my friend's shop Hoppa in Pro City. It's like a used surfboard store. So I have like little jobs and stuff, and I try to just cram all my extra time into just creating stuff and doing my best to be a better businessman, which I'm not trying to get there. I mean, the
Yeah,
website
man.
you read was like my first step. Hopefully by the time people watch this, my website will look better. It's pretty shabby right now.
I don't know. It's pretty nice. I like the flow of it.
Thanks. Mahalo, mahalo. But yeah, finding balance is definitely kind of always been difficult for me. I kind of just jam.
Right
Like
on. Well, man, I'm gonna have some business people on this podcast, some native indigenous business people to talk about exactly that, how they handle like creativity and indigeneity within the business realm. And I've been geeking out super hard on that, and I'm gonna have a bunch of guests to talk about that. So
yeah, I'm going to listen, take some notes.
right on. Oh man, a super mahalo to you for once again being on this podcast. One last question for you. What would you consider a creative native? What does that term mean to you?
Oh, creative native. Let me think about that
Because
first.
that definitely is you, but what would you consider it?
I would consider it to be, well, I think like native is like such a tossed around word. I think that everyone is native to some place. You know, they might not have the blood to some place, but they are native to one culture and stretch of land that had a culture that was once very connected to nature and thriving. And so all kind of relates to just like our relationship and our responsibility with the planet. And if someone is able to use their creativity and their ideas and their curiosity to create or inspire a community with more like kindness and compassion and just love for our place on this earth and for each other, then I think that they're doing a pretty good job as a creative native, because they're all just native to this little spaceship earth, you know. So
Yeah.
anyone who's using their creativity for like the betterment of the planet, I think they're doing a good job to wherever stretch of land they came from, whether it be where they are right now or across the other side of the world. It's still like we're all like sharing the same ocean. So yeah, just people who are motivated and want to put more kindness into the world for sure.
Oh, what an answer, man. I love it. I love it. Well, that's pretty much it for this episode, guys. Mahalo, Mowgli, for coming on to the Creative Natives podcast. I would love to feature some of your art, and you guys can find his links in the blog, and hopefully we'll see him doing more work soon. Check out his film. What's it called again?
A Whistle of Wilderness.
Whistle of Wilderness, coming out real soon.
Soon this weekend. Hopefully can see it somewhere along the road. Just contact me somehow, I guess.
Well, actually, by the time this is gonna be out, it'll already be out and
I have no idea.
gaining some traction, guaranteed.
Yeah, we'll see.
Right on, brother Chris. Mahalo nui.
Thank you, Ashton. Mahalo.
Agya monak.